A very warm welcome to all of you. So, today we are going to start our new topic, that is the protein synthesis, which means formation of proteins, or simply we can say that synthesis of protein. So, protein synthesis is also known as translation. Translation. So, we already know that the central dogma of life, which is replication, that is DNA to DNA, then DNA to RNA, then RNA to protein. So the central dogma of life is formation of RNA from DNA, then protein from DNA. So the formation of RNA from DNA is called as transcription, and the formation of RNA protein from RNA is called translation, and the formation of DNA from DNA is called replication. And in some animals there is another pathway from which have their genetic material, RNA as their genetic material. They show reverse transcription, that is from RNA to DNA. Reverse transcription in some viruses like HIV virus, which have the RNA as a genetic material. In those organisms, they show reverse transcription. Okay, so this is the central dogma of life, in which we can see that RNA is formed from DNA and protein is formed from RNA. So today we are going to discuss the protein synthesis in eukaryotes, not in prokaryotes. Eukaryote, that is in higher organisms. So before starting the protein synthesis, I will give you some information or give you some basic about the protein synthesis, or the about protein. Protein is made up of amino acids. When these amino acids form polymer, like I'm writing here, A amino acid, B amino acid, C amino acid, D, E, F. When these amino acids form a chain or form a polymer, they will form a polypeptide. Okay, that is, poly means many, peptide means amino acids. Okay, so when these amino acids combines and form a long chain or a polymer, then we call that chain of amino acid as protein or polypeptide. If there is present of two amino acid, we call them dipeptide. If three, tripeptide, then tetrapeptide. From 2 to 8 we call them oligopeptide. Then after 10 we call them polypeptide. So basically the basic unit of a protein is the amino acid. Okay, amino acids get combines and form a long chain, form a polypeptide bond, and form a long chain. This chain is called proteins. Okay, and we all know that the protein forms different enzymes in our body, like we can say that hexokinases and different structural proteins. There are different uh, you know transporter proteins like hemoglobin, like myoglobin, and your immunoglobins. So those are the proteins which are made from this long chain of polypeptides. So basically, there are 20 amino acids, 20 amino acids which participates in protein synthesis. Protein synthesis, out of which some are essential amino acid and some are non-essential essential amino acids, and some are non-essential amino acids. Okay, so essential amino acids are those amino acids which are not formed in our body. We should take them from the outside or from diet. We cannot prepare in our body, so those amino acids are called essential amino acids. If we are talking about non-essential amino acids, so those proteins or those amino acids which are formed or produced in our body or which are synthesized in our body are called non-essential amino acids. There are uh, 8 essential amino acids and 12 non-essential amino acids. In infants, there are 10 essential amino acids and 10 non-essential amino acids. So those non-essential amino acids, those are prepared in our own body. We do not need to take them in from diet. But the essential amino acids, they cannot be synthesized in our body, so we have to prepare them. We have to take them from the outside of the body in the form of diet and any other sources. So these amino acids, when form polypeptide chain, so they finally convert it into a protein. Okay, so as I have discussed that there are some essential amino acids and some non-essential amino acids. When they form chain, so they will form protein. If we talk about the different amino acids, I'm just giving a basic idea about proteins. After the basic idea, I will start the main mechanism of protein synthesis in prokaryotes. So if we talk about the essential amino acids, let's write here, that is isoleucine, leucine, lysine, then methionine, then phenylalanine, threonine, then tryptophan, valine, arginine, and histidine. So these are the 10 essential amino acids. And if we talk about non-essential, which are prepared in our body, those are alanine, proline, asparagine, cysteine, glutamate, glutamine, glycine, serine, and tyrosine. So here is the list of those amino acids which are essential for our body, which we need to take in our diet. Those are leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, and valine, arginine, and histidine. These two amino acids which I have star marked, are those amino acids which are essential in infants, but uh, when in adult it is not essential. This two amino acid, it is prepared in our own body, but in infant it is essential. That's why I have star marked it. That is arginine and histidine. So basically, if we see in adult, so these 8 amino acids are essential. We need to take in it in our diet. And if you're talking about these non-essential amino acids, so these are alanine, proline, asparagine, cysteine, glutamine, glycine, serine, and tyrosine. These 10 amino acids are non-essential. We do not need to take it in our diet. Our body prepare it in our own body. So there are two amino acids which have a sulfur group in its molecular structure. That is, one is methionine. Methionine, it has sulfur, but it has intermolecular sulfur. And second is the cysteine. It has also sulfur, but only cysteine can make sulfur bonds. But methionine cannot form sulfur bond because the sulfur is present inside, uh, that is present inside the structure, but the sulfur in cysteine is present outside, so it can make sulfur bond. Like in keratin, it makes sulfur bonds. Like in immunoglobulin, there are sulfur bonds. So those sulfur bonds are prepared by these cysteine amino acids. So these 20 amino acids combine and form polypeptide to form the protein. So these amino acids have some code which is uh, used for the protein synthesis. Codon, which is used for the its protein synthesis. So like a triplet codon, that is AUG, GUC, like UUC. So these codons code for those amino acids. Okay, so there are amino acids which have one codon, and some have more than one codons. Some have 4 codons, some have 2 codons, some have 6 codons. So these codons code for these amino acids, and those amino acids are recruited on the mRNA and they form the polypeptide chain. So basically, the site of protein synthesis is ribosome. So we need 3 components, that is the amino acid, then the ribosome, which has the rRNA, and the mRNA and tRNA. Okay, these are the components which we need for a protein synthesis. First, the 3 types of RNA, that is the rRNA, that is the ribosomal RNA, then mRNA, then tRNA. And along with these, we need the amino acids, which is the main, which is the basic subunit of protein synthesis. So the main site of protein synthesis, ribosome. So we know that from the DNA, RNAs are formed, maybe rRNA, mRNA, or tRNA. But the main RNA we need for the polypeptide formation is the mRNA, which is also called messenger RNA, which have the codon in it. Okay, according to that codon, our amino acids are recruited and the polypeptide chain is formed. For example, there is an initiation codon from where protein synthesis starts. There is the AUG. So AUG is the codon which codes for methionine. So AUG is the codon which codes for methionine. So similarly, every amino acids have different codon which code for those amino acids. For example, if there is, we can take example of UUU. If the second codon is UUU, so the UUU code for phenylalanine. Phenylalanine. So likewise, every amino acids, both essential and non-essential, have these triplet codons which code for them. When these codes are present on the mRNA, then the tRNA will bring the amino acids on the mRNA, and there is the formation of polypeptide chain. According to this code, amino acids are recruited at the ribosome at the mRNA, and polypeptide chains are formed. Okay, so mRNA have the codon which is responsible for the protein synthesis. Then we have tRNA. tRNA as those tRNA or RNA which brings the amino acids to the rRNA. Okay, to the mRNA. So this tRNA brings the amino acids towards the mRNA. So the tRNA has anticodon. The tRNA has anticodon. So this anticodon, for example, if we have AUG, our starting codon, then this tRNA has UAC. Okay, so UAC is the anticodon, and it forms a complementary base pair with the codon, and it brings the amino acid towards the messenger RNA. So likewise, the second codon I have written there, that is UUU. If there is UUU, then our tRNA will bring, that is UUU A. So the tRNA will bring the amino acid. This is methionine, and UU code for phenylalanine. So this amino acid will, this tRNA will bring the amino acid, that is the phenylalanine, and the ribosome which has the rRNA, it forms the peptide bond between the two amino acids. So the bond between which links to amino acid is called peptide bond. Like glycosidic bond which is found in carbohydrates, here we can see the peptide bonds which forms which links the two amino acids together. So this ribosome which I have mentioned there, which carries the rRNA, forms the peptide bond between the amino acids, because this ribosome, or which have the rRNA, has the capacity to form the the peptide bond. It has an enzymatic activity of peptidyl transferase, which transfers the amino acid from one tRNA to the other tRNA. So basically, just for a simplicity, you can just remember that the ribosomal RNA forms the polypeptide or simply peptide bond. Okay, peptide bond. So in this way, these four molecules or units participate in the protein synthesis, that is the amino acids which forms the main, which is the basic unit of polypeptide chain. Then ribosome which has the rRNA, that is the ribosomal RNA, which forms the polypeptide chain between two amino acids. Then the mRNA which codes which carries the code from DNA, then the tRNA, which brings the amino acid towards the mRNA to form the polypeptide chain. So these components participate in this way. So I'm telling about the different amino acids have different codons. Okay, some amino acid has one codon, some amino acid two codon. So there are totally 64 codons for the 64 codons, out of which 3 codons are stop codons and the rest 61 codon are for the amino acids. I will draw a diagram of genetic code which makes you easier to understand the different codons coding for amino acids. U C A G U U U U U C U U A U U G C U U C U U C U C C U A C U G A U U A U C A U A A U G G U U G U C G U A G U G is U C A G. Here is U C A G U C A G U C A G U C A G. Okay. U C U U C C U C A U C G C C U C C C C C A C C G A C C A C A A C G A C U A C G A G A C A A C G. Likewise, G C U G C C G C A G C G. Likewise, U A U U A C U A G. Then U A U U U A A U A G C A U C A C C A A C A G. Then A A U A A C A A A. Then A A G. Then GAU, GAC, GAA, then GAG. Likewise, UGU, UGC, UGA, UGG, CGU, CGC, CGA, CGG. Likewise, AGU, AGC, AGA, and AGG. Likewise, GGU, GGC, GGA, and GGG. UCAG, 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 UCAG. So these are the genetic codes which are responsible for the recruitment of the amino acids on the mRNA. So different code have different amino acid. PHA, there's a phenylalanine, then these do leucine, AUG, that codes for methionine, isoleucine, valine, serine, proline, threonine, alanine, tyrosine, stop, histidine, glutamine, then asparagine, lysine, aspartate, then glutamate, then cysteine, stop codon, then tyrosine, arginine, serine, arginine, glycine. So here is the table which shows the different code of different amino acids. So we can see that phenylalanine, leucine, isoleucine, methionine, valine, serine, proline, threonine, alanine, tyrosine, histidine, glutamine, asparagine, lysine, aspartate, glutamine, lysine, tyrosine, arginine, serine, arginine, glycine. So there are amino acids, different amino acids which codes for there are some different codes which have different amino acids, or we can simply say that there are different amino acids which have different codes. If we talk about some amino acids which have more than one codon, that is the mainly arginine, serine and leucine. Then arginine and serine. Where is serine? Serine. So these proteins code for more than one amino acids, or simply they have code six. They have six codons, which leucine, serine and arginine. These three amino acids have six codon. That means if there is I'm taking example of leucine, that is if there is UAA, it will code for leucine. If there is UUG, it will code for leucine. If there is uh, CUU, it will code for leucine. If there is CUC, it will code for leucine. If there is CUA, it will code for leucine. If there is CUG, it will code for leucine. Similarly, these two amino acids have same to same more than six codon. Like if you're talking about serine, it has UCU, UCC, UCA, UCG. If any of these codons are present on the mRNA, it will brings the serine amino acids on the mRNA and recruit it on the mRNA and form the polypeptide chain. So another amino acid, that is valine, glycine, proline and threonine. That is valine, glycine, proline and threonine. These four amino acids are coded by more than four codons, or simply we can say that they are coded by four codons. ठीक है? So you can see that valine. I will talk about valine. So valine is coded by four codons. Glycine is coded by four codons here. Then proline, it is also coded by four codon. You can see here, and threonine, which is also coded by four codons. Then phenylalanine is coded by two codons. Phenylalanine, where is phenylalanine? Uh, uh, mm, Phenylalanine. Here is the phenylalanine. It is coded by two codons, that is UUU and UUG. So there are some amino acids which are not coded by more than one codons. For example, there is methionine here, which is only coded by AUG, or there is tryptophan, which is only coded by one methionine and tryptophan, which is coded by one codon. Okay, so so these are some these are the codes which encodes our different amino acids. Like I'm talking about, if we talk about leucine, serine and arginine, they are coded by six codons. If we talk about valine, glycine, proline, threonine, those are coded by four codons. If we talk about methionine and tryptophan, those are coded by one codon. So totally 64 codons are present, which encodes our different amino acids. But from out of 64, 3 codons are stop codons, which means it stops the translation process. Okay, so these stop codons are UAA, UAG, and the UGA. So these are the stop codons which are named as Opal, Amber and Ochre. Okay. So there are three codons which are stop, which inhibit or which terminate the translation process. So totally there are 64 codons, out of which 61 codons encode amino acids, and the remaining three which are stop codons which terminate the translation process. So the mRNA carries those codons, those codons like AUG, UUC, UUG, UGA, UCA, UGA. So, according to these codons, the tRNA will bring, which has the tRNA which has anticodon, anticodon, anticodon brings the amino acid to the mRNA according to this codon. Like the tRNA will act as a key and lock, key, anticodon will act as a key, and this codon will act as a lock. So the particular key, only the particular key will open the lock. Okay, so if we try to open the lock with non-particular key, or that from that key which is not of that particular lock, so it will not open. That means the amino acids will not bind to the mRNA. Okay, so we only need the particular key which can open the lock. So if there is AUG, so the tRNA will bring only those amino acid which is encoded by this AUG. For example, if we look in the table, AUG encode for which amino acid. So AUG will encode the protein amino acid, that is methionine. So this tRNA will bring only that amino acid, that is methionine, towards the mRNA, and it will binds with the codon. So there will form a complementary base pairing between the anticodon and codon of mRNA. Then similarly, UUC will code for phenylalanine. So the next tRNA will bring the phenylalanine on the mRNA. Likewise, the next is CUG. If you look for CUG, so CUG will code for leucine. So the next tRNA will bring the amino acid which code for leucine. Likewise, according to the code, the amino acid are bring by the tRNA. Okay, so they will form the codon anticodon complex or the complementary sequence here. Then the elongation process will start. Okay, so if we talk about translation or protein synthesis in prokaryotes and eukaryotes, the process is almost similar, but there is little bit differences in the initiation factors. The eukaryotic protein synthesis or translation needs uh, more transcription factors than the transcription factors used in the prokaryotic protein synthesis. And the second difference is, in prokaryotic protein synthesis, the initiator amino acid is formyl methionine. Okay, but if we talk about eukaryotic translation, so eukaryotes do not need any formal methionine. It only use the simple methionine amino acids, or it only requires the simple methionine amino acids. So in prokaryotes formal methionine is the initiator amino acid, and in eukaryotes methionine that is not formulated is the initiator uh, initiator amino acids. And the initiation process always starts with the codon, that is the AUG, which is the universal start codon. Okay, so always initiation starts from this codon, that is AUG, which is present on the 5' end of the mRNA. So this is the basic of these are some basics before starting the protein synthesis, that how uh, codes are present for different amino acids, the 20 amino acids, and how different amino acids for codes more than one codons, and mRNA, then the tRNA, how tRNA brings the the amino acids towards the mRNA, then the ribosome, how ribosomes participate in the protein synthesis and how it forms the peptide bond between two amino acids. So these are the basic. And if we talk about the ribosome, I will rub it up. You can find this table from any book or you can find it on the internet. Just write it or note it and remember the different codons for different amino acids. So if we look into the ribosomes, so the prokaryotes have 70S ribosome and eukaryotes have 80S ribosome. So this S is the sedimentation coefficient or Sedgwick unit. According to the sedimentation process, they are uh, differentiated into 70S and 80S. So the 70S subunit is further made up of two subunit, a large subunit and a small subunit. In prokaryotes, it is made up of 60S and 40S, and in prokaryotes it is made up of 50S and 30S. Okay. So these are the different subunits of ribosome, that is in prokaryote that is 70S ribosome and in eukaryote there is 80S ribosome. The larger subunit of prokaryote, that is the 50S, is made up of 23S, 5S rRNA and 34 proteins. If we talk about 30S ribosome, it is made up of 16S rRNA and 21 proteins. And if we talk about eukaryotic ribosome, the large subunit of eukaryotic ribosome, so it is made up of 28S rRNA, 5.8S rRNA and 5s rRNA along with approximately 45 proteins. Then if we talk about the smaller subunit, large, small. So the smaller subunit is made up of 18s rRNA with 30 protein. So this is the different ribosomes in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So if we talk about the ribosomes are the sites of protein synthesis, and there are many ribosomes present in a cell, which shows that ribosomes plays an important role in the protein synthesis, and protein synthesis itself is an important mechanism in the metabolism of a cell, because the number of ribosomes is large, and it is present vastly in the cell. So if we talk about E. coli cell contains about 20,000 ribosomes in a cell. And if we talk about uh, a dividing mammalian cell, it contains 10 million ribosomes. So this number shows that the protein synthesis plays an important role in the cell metabolism. So just remember those things, that in prokaryotes there is 70s ribosome, and in eukaryotes it has 80s ribosomes, and this ribosomes has a large subunit and small subunit. Uh, the protein synthesis initiate when this large and subunit combines, and uh, the peptidyl transferase activity or the enzyme ribozyme activity is present in the large subunit, and the subunits mainly forms the peptide bonds, or we can say that the peptidyl transferase enzymatic activity is present in the large subunit of the ribosome, and uh, here the RNA act as a enzyme. That's why we called it a ribozyme. Before discovering that the RNA are responsible for the peptidyl transferase activity, it was considered that the proteins which is present in the ribosome, they are responsible for the peptidyl transferase activity. But after discovery that uh, all proteins are enzymes, but there are exception that some ribozymes or some RNA are also act as a enzyme. They found that the large subunit has the RNA, and the RNA act as the peptidyl transferase activity. If we talk about prokaryotic ribosome, the 23S has the ribozyme activity, that is the enzyme activity, which forms the peptide bond, or which transfers the peptide from one amine tRNA to another tRNA. So this is about the ribosome, that is in prokaryotes 70s ribosome is present, and in eukaryotes there are 80s ribosome. So the next is the tRNA. So if we talk about the transfer RNA, I've already told you that transfer RNA plays an important role in the recruitment of amino acids. So before initiation process or before protein synthesis, the activation of amino acid or tRNA is important. If we look at the structure of the tRNA, Okay, at the 3 prime end there is a CAA. At the 3 prime end there is CAA. The 5 prime end. The structure of tRNA is column structure, that is L, or we can say L-like structure. This structure is because it can fit into the sites in the ribosome, that is A site, E site, and exit site. So there are special sites present on the tRNA. The main important site is the anticodon, which shows complementary base pairing with the codon present on the RNA, and the amino acid always bind at the 3 prime end with the ribose of the adenosine. Okay, so there should be 20 tRNA for 20 amino acids, 20 tRNA for 20 amino acids, so that these 20 amino acids will be recruited by this tRNA on the mRNA. But in E. coli there is 40 tRNA which codes for the 20 amino acids. 40 different tRNA encodes for 20 amino acids. हमने देखा कि जो tRNA है तो 20 अमीनो एसिड्स के लिए कितना होना चाहिए, दैट इज 20 tRNA होना चाहिए. बट इकोलाई में 40 tRNA है, ठीक है, जो 20 अमीनो एसिड्स को उस पर्टिकुलर mRNA के पास लेके आता है. उसका मतलब ये हुआ कि जो tRNA है तो जो दो से एक अमीनो एसिड के लिए दो से ज़्यादा tRNA प्रेजेंट है, या एक अमीनो एसिड के लिए 2 या 3 tRNA प्रेजेंट है. बट हमने ये देखा था पहले ही कि जो कोड है वो डिजेनरेट होता है, जैसे कि वो डिजेनरेसी दिखाता है. कि हमने देखा था कि फॉर एग्जांपल एक अमीनो एसिड के लिए किसी कोई जो कोड है वो 4 है, किसी के लिए 6 कोड है, ठीक है, किसी के लिए 2 कोड है. तो इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, डिजेनरेसी बोलते हैं कोडॉन का. कि जो कोडॉन है एक अमीनो एसिड के लिए 2 से ज़्यादा भी कोडॉन हो सकते हैं, 2 भी हो सकता है, 6 भी हो सकते हैं, 4 भी हो सकते हैं, जो हमने अभी टेबल में आपको देखा था, ठीक है. तो टोटल हमने देखा कि 61 वहाँ पे कोडॉन्स हैं जो 20 अमीनो एसिड्स को कोड करता है, ठीक है. तो अगर 61 वहाँ पे कोडॉन है तो उसके हिसाब से तो हमारे पास कितने tRNA होने चाहिए, 61 tRNA होने चाहिए. क्योंकि कोडॉन अगर AUG होगा तो उसका एंटी कोडॉन दैट इज GAUAG होना चाहिए, ठीक है. तो इस कोडॉन के लिए एंटी कोडॉन होना चाहिए. तो अगर 61 कोडॉन होगा तभी वहाँ पे वो कम्प्लीमेंट्री बेस पेयर कर पाएगा. अगर 61 एंटी कोडॉन होगा तो इकोलाई के केस में सिर्फ 40 tRNA है. तो हाउ दिस 40 tRNA एंटी कोड और शो कम्प्लीमेंट्री बेस पेयर विद दिस 61 एंटी कोडॉन, ठीक है. तो वो समझने के लिए एक हाइपोथेसिस दिया था क्रिक ने, ठीक है, दैट इज द वोबल हाइपोथेसिस. वोबल हाइपोथेसिस. तो उसने क्या कहा, जो tRNA है और जो mRNA है, तो mRNA का हम ऐसे देखते हैं 5 to 3 प्राइम 3 to 5. तो जो mRNA का कोडॉन वहाँ प्रेजेंट होगा. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम बात करेंगे फिनाइल एलेनिन की, यहाँ पे दिखाता हूँ आपको डायग्राम में, यहाँ पे. तो अगर हम फिनाइल एलेनिन की बात करेंगे तो UUC, ठीक है, दिस इज द कोडॉन. तो उसके लिए हमारा जो RNA है वो आना चाहिए, tRNA है, दैट इज द विच हैज द एंटी कोडॉन AAG. तो इस वोबल हाइपोथेसिस में क्या कहा, वोबल हाइपोथेसिस ने कहा कि जो थर्ड पोजीशन है 3, थर्ड पोजीशन किसका इज 5 to 3 प्राइम से जो थर्ड पोजीशन है mRNA का, और जो फर्स्ट पोजीशन है यहाँ पे इसको देखेंगे तो दिस इज द फर्स्ट पोजीशन, ठीक है। tRNA का ये फर्स्ट पोजीशन है और mRNA का ये थर्ड पोजीशन है। सो थर्ड पोजीशन ऑफ mRNA एंड फर्स्ट पोजीशन ऑफ RNA ऑफ कोडॉन एंड फर्स्ट पोजीशन ऑफ एंटीकोडॉन, ठीक है। तो ये जो फर्स्ट और थर्ड जो पोजीशन है दीज आर वोबल साइट्स, उसको ने क्या कहा वोबल साइट्स का। तो उसने इस हाइपोथेसिस में ये कहा गया कि जो दो पहले जो दो साइट्स हैं, ठीक है, तो वो बेस पेयरिंग के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है, बट जो थर्ड वाला है उसमें जो tRNA है वो किसी भी कोड के साथ बेस पेयरिंग कर सकता है, ठीक है। कंपलसरी नहीं है, फॉर एग्जांपल जी होगा तो यहाँ पे सी हो, ठीक है। तो वहाँ पे वो वोबल साइट दिखाता है, वोबल हाइपोथेसिस इसको बोलते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम फिनाइल एलेनिन की बात करेंगे, तो फिनाइल एलेनिन क्या करता है, फिनाइल एलेनिन का जो कोड है दैट इज UUC, ठीक है। बस उसका एंटीकोडन क्या होगा AAG, दैट इज G विल बेस पेयर विथ C, ठीक है। बट इसी फिनाइल एलेनिन का और एक भी कोड है दैट इज द UUU, ठीक है। क्या है UUU, तो इसका एंटीकोडन क्या होना चाहिए दैट इज AAA, ठीक है। एंटीकोडन तो ये होना चाहिए, बट वहां पे AAU की जगह पे AAG ही बाइंड होता है, ठीक है। दैट इज द सेम tRNA वहां पे जाके बाइंड हो जाता है, कैरिंग द फिनाइल एलेनिन, ठीक है। तो एक्चुअली यहाँ पे होना क्या चाहिए था, हमको होना यहाँ पे A चाहिए था, क्योंकि A ही U के साथ बेस पेयरिंग दिखाता है। बट यहाँ पे G भी क्या दिखा रहा है, G U के साथ बेस पेयरिंग दिखा रहा है, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे फिर से क्या ऐड होगा, फिनाइल एलेनिन ऐड होगा, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे G कोडॉन के C होने के बावजूद भी वो U के साथ बेस पेयरिंग करता है। तो इस हाइपोथेसिस को क्या बोलते हैं, वोबल हाइपोथेसिस बोलते हैं, जिसके वजह से ये जो tRNA है वो इस एंटीकोडॉन के साथ इस लॉक को वो ओपन कर सकता है, ठीक है। वो लॉक इस की का नहीं है, स्टिल इट कैन ओपन दिस लॉक। तो इसकी वजह से फेनाइल एलेनिन के दो कोडॉन होने के बावजूद भी सेम tRNA उसको वहां पे अमीनो एसिड बाइंड करता है। तो इस हाइपोथेसिस को क्या बोलते हैं, वोबल हाइपोथेसिस कहते हैं, जिसको क्रिक ने दिया था, ठीक है। तो सेम है, देखो ये फाइनल एलानिन की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, अगर एलानिन की बात करूंगा, ठीक है, तो एलानिन की बात करूंगा तो उसमें ऐसा रहता है। तो एलानिन में जो कोड है दैट इज एंटी कोडॉन है, दैट इज CGI, ठीक है। सो ये हमारा एंटी कोडॉन है, एंटीकोडॉन which is present on the tRNA. So this is the ionosine, this is the third position first position, that is the वोबल पोजीशन। इस वोबल पोजीशन में क्या होगा, यहाँ पे बाइंड होगा सबसे पहले, या तो हमें पता है C के साथ G करता है, G के साथ C के साथ G, C, ठीक है। बट तो सबसे पहले है आयोनिसिन के साथ बाइंड होगा, दैट इज द यूरेसिल, देन गुआनिन, देन एडेनिन। तो आयोनिसिन यूरेसिल के साथ बाइंड होता है, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे आयोनिसिन यूरेसिल के साथ भी बाइंड हो रहा है, आयोनिसिन गुआनिन के साथ भी कम्प्लीमेंट्री बेस पेयरिंग दिखा रहा है, और आयोनिसिन एडेनिन के साथ भी बेस पेयरिंग दिखा रहा है। बट उसके जो आगे की जो पोजीशन है दैट इज GC, तो वो अलग बेस पेयरिंग नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो जो उनका नॉर्मल बेस पेयरिंग है दैट इज CG के साथ GC के साथ, GCG के साथ GC के साथ। दैट्स व्हाई दीज आर नॉट वोबल पोजीशंस। बट जो तीसरा है आयोनिसिन, नॉर्मली यूरेसिल के साथ बेस पेयरिंग दिखाता है, बट यहाँ पे वो आयोनिसिन गुआनिन के साथ भी बेस पेयरिंग दिखा रहा है, एडेनिन के साथ भी बेस पेयरिंग दिखा रहा है। मीन वही टीआरएनए, वही जो की है हम बोलेंगे, वही की दो एक्स्ट्रा उसको भी ओपन कर रहा है, ठीक है। बट जो की लेके आ रहा है वो मैं हूँ। आपको समझाने के लिए जस्ट इन इजी वे, ठीक है। मेरे पास 3 ताले हैं, ठीक है। दोज लॉक्स आर डिफरेंट, ठीक है। तो ये लॉक ए है, लॉक बी है, लॉक सी है, ठीक है। तो मेरे पास एक ही चाबी है, आई हैव ओनली वन की। अब इस चाबी के साथ मैं इसको भी खोल पा रहा हूँ, इसको भी खोल पा रहा हूँ, इसको भी ओपन कर पा रहा हूँ, ठीक है। सो दिस चाबी इज द योर टीआरएनए, ठीक है, एंड दिस इज योर एमआरएनए कोडॉन, ठीक है। डिफरेंट कोडॉन यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट है। अब जो अमीनो एसिड है वो जो इस चाबी को लेके आ रहा है, दैट इज, अगर हम फिनाइल एलानिन की बात करेंगे तो एलानिन की बात करेंगे तो द अमीनो एसिड इज एलानिन। तो अगर हम नॉर्मली एग्जांपल की बात करेंगे तो चाबी लेके आने वाला बंदा मैं हूँ, ठीक है। तो मैं इसको भी ओपन कर रहा हूँ, उसको भी ओपन कर रहा हूँ, सिंगल बंदा हूँ, ठीक है। तीनों लॉक्स को ओपन करके जा रहा हूँ, ठीक है। तो मैं तो यही है अमीनो एसिड। एक अमीनो एसिड एक सिंगल है, ठीक है, चाबी भी एक है, बट कोडॉन डिफरेंट है, जिसके वजह से हमने आपको पहले जो उसमें टेबल में दिखाया कि जो जेनेटिक कोड है वो डीजेनरेसी दिखाता है, ठीक है। मोर देन वन कोडॉन कैन इनकोड फॉर अ सिंगल अमीनो एसिड्स, ठीक है। तो एक सिंगल अमीनो एसिड्स के लिए बहुत सारे कोडॉन्स हो सकते हैं, या बहुत सारे कोडॉन एक सिंगल अमीनो एसिड को कोड कर सकता है। तो ये जो प्रॉपर्टी है किसकी, टीआरएनए, उसकी वजह से यहाँ पे आपको डिजेनरेसी देखने को मिलती है, ठीक है। तो अगर टीआरएनए कम भी होगा, ठीक है, फॉर एग्जांपल इकोलाई के इसमें है 40, आप सोच रहे होंगे कि 61 कोड है तो 61 टीआरएनए होने चाहिए, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि सिंगल जो टीआरएनए है वो तीन तीन कोडॉन्स को भी इनकोड कर सकता है, उनके साथ बेस पेयरिंग दिखा सकता है। दैट्स व्हाई देयर इज लो नंबर ऑफ टीआरएनए एज कंपेयर टू द कोडॉन्स, ठीक है। तो ये एक स्पेशल प्रॉपर्टी है किसकी, मेनली टीआरएनएस की, ठीक है। सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द जेनेटिक कोड। देन उसके बाद हमने राइबोसोम्स का भी देख लिया, देन उसके बाद हमने इस टीआरएनए का भी देख लिया, ठीक है। तो डायरेक्टली ये टीआरएनए अमीनो एसिड्स को आपके एमआरएनए पे लेके नहीं जा सकते, ठीक है। सो इट नीड एक्टिवेशन। तो सबसे पहले इसका एक्टिवेशन होता है, ठीक है। एक्टिवेशन कैसे होता है, एक्टिवेशन पहले जो अमीनो एसिड्स है, अमीनो एसिड वहां पे एटीपी बाइंड होता है, ठीक है। तो दैट इज द चार्जिंग ऑफ एटीपी। तो वहां पे आपको एमाइनो एसाइल टीआरएनए फॉर्म होता है, एमाइनो एसाइल, अमीनो एसाइल। देन उसके बाद वहां पे टीआरएनए बाइंड होता है, ठीक है। देन वहां पे आपको एमाइनो एसाइल टीआरएनए देखने को मिलता है। तो वहां पे एक इंटरमीडिएट फॉर्म होता है बिफोर फॉर्मिंग द पेप्टाइड बॉन्ड्स। तो प्रोटीन सिंथेसिस से पहले अमीनो एसिड का चार्ज होना या जो टीआरएनए है उसका एक्टिवेट होना इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो इसका एक्टिवेशन कैसे होता है, एक्टिवेशन होता है बाय बाइंडिंग ऑफ एटीपी ऑन द अमीनो एसिड, ठीक है। तो टीआरएनए पहले उसके पास अमीनो एसिड नहीं रहता है, तो जब अमीनो एसिड वहां पे टीआरएनए पे बाइंड होगा तभी हम क्या बोलेंगे, जो टीआरएनए है वो एक्टिवेट हुआ है। तो अगर हम यहाँ पे एक अमीनो एसिड की बात करेंगे, फॉर एग्जांपल दिस इज द बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ अमीनो एसिड, ठीक है। अमाइन ग्रुप है, कार्बोक्सिलिक ग्रुप है, और यहाँ पे फंक्शनल ग्रुप है, ठीक है। तो सबसे पहले यहाँ पे बाइंड होता है वो किसके साथ, एटीपी के साथ, हैविंग फॉस्फेट। तो वहां से पीपीआई निकल जाता है, एंड दिस एएमपी विल बाइंड ऑन द अमीनो एसिड, फॉर्मिंग है अमीनो एसाइल एएमपी। तो जो कार्बोक्सिलिक साइट है वहां पे जो एटीपी है, एएमपी है, वो बाइंड हो जाता है, एंड यू विल फाइंड ए इंटरमीडिएट दैट इज कॉल्ड अमीनो एसाइल एएमपी सिंथेटेज, ठीक है। तो ये एंजाइम के अंदर ही रहता है। जो एंजाइम रिस्पॉन्सिबल है दैट इज फॉर दिस प्रोसेस, दैट इज द अमीनो एसाइल synthetase, amino acyl AMP synthetase, AMP synthetase, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे आपका इंटरमीडिएट फॉर्म हो गया है, दैट इज द अमीनो एसाइल AMP। देन उसके बाद टीआरएनए आएगा यहाँ से, मेनली जो टीआरएनए के 3' साइड पे मैंने आपको बताया CCA प्रेजेंट है, तो ए के राइबोज शुगर के साथ ये बाइंड होता है हमारा अमीनो एसिड। तो यहाँ पे दिखाता हूँ मैं आपको इस तरह से, 5', 3' एंड CCA इज द लास्ट बेस, 3 बेस। तो यहाँ पे C पे O हमारा अमीनो एसिड बाइंड हो जाता है, अटैच हो जाता है, ठीक है। सो दिस इज आवर अमीनो एसाइल टीआरएनए, अमीनो एसाइल टीआरएनए, और यहाँ से AMP निकल जाता है। So this is the process through which the tRNA gets activated by the binding of amino acid. So this in this way the amino acids get activated, and this process is catalyzed by the enzyme that is amino acyl AMP synthase. So it's a two-step reaction in which first the amino acids binds to the ATP and gets activated. Then after activation, this amino gets charged, and after charging, this amino acyl AMP intermediate is formed. Then this amino acyl AMP is binds with the tRNA, that is the transfer RNA, and finally our product, that is the amino acyl tRNA, is formed and AMP is released. So this is important before protein synthesis. So if we go into the protein synthesis, so protein synthesis is proceed in, or simply we can say that protein synthesis occurs in these 3 steps, that is the initiation, then elongation, then termination. So in the initiation process, the ribosomes and the initiator amino acid binds to the mRNA, scans the start codon, and finally they binds to the start codon, and different initiator factors brings the amino acid, brings the tRNA, brings the mRNA ribosomes at one site and form the complex. Then after that, the elongation process start. Elongation process. In elongation process, peptide bonds are formed. The polypeptides are added. Amino acids are added, and a long chain is formed. Then in termination, there forms the stop codon. They find the stop codon, and the protein synthesis is terminated. So in this way the protein synthesis is completed. So in the next lecture we will discuss one by one, that is the initiation process, elongation process, termination process. So today it's enough for today. In next lecture we will start these processes. Thank you.